Muito bem. Iniciamos? Okay, so before starting, I have two announcements. The first one is that Thursday, the course will start at 10 minutes before, in order to be more flexible between the course and the parallel sessions. Okay? So this is the first announcement. The second one is that we ask people presenting posters this afternoon to stay close to their poster. Okay, because there are people asking for questions, and if they don't find you, it's a pity. So please, all people presenting posters this afternoon, stay close to your poster. Okay? So you will be able to answer questions. Well, okay, so we can continue our walk in the mountain of a perverse world. But before proving the result I gave yesterday, I want to motivate more the Poincaré-Lefschetz isomorphism and the use of intersection homology for Poincaré-Lefschetz duality. And in fact, the Poincaré-Lefschetz duality for singular spaces is given using intersection homology, as I defined yesterday, and in the following way. If you have a cycle EH n minus EX, and with rational coefficient, so it will give a bilinear map in the same way, non-degenerate, in the same way than ordinary homology for manifolds. But here there is, so with so A and B being perverse, being transverse, and dimension of A plus dimension of B is the dimension of the space. Okay, the same properties, but here one cycle should be allowable for a perversity P bar, and the other not for the same perversity, but what we call the complementary perversity. What does it mean? So Q bar is complementary perversity. Yes, thank you. X compact. Otherwise, you have to put closed somewhere. Okay? Maybe I will erase this and I will put closed, because of course if X is compact, closed and compact support are the same. Okay, so complementary perversity, so thanks Mutsuo. What does it mean? It means that for each alpha bigger than 2, P alpha plus Q alpha is alpha minus 2. Okay, and in fact, if you look at, maybe I will write here, the perversity you know is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. You know that the perversity should be 0 for the value 0, 1, and 2. We said that yesterday. Okay, and then either you grow by 1 or you take the same value. So you have two particular perversities. One is the zero perversity. You don't allow any defect of transversality. That means that you are looking at cycles and chains which are transverse to all strata. No defect of transversality. Okay? So this is a zero perversity. And another particular perversity is the total one, which means that you always grow by 1, which is the highest possible perversity, and it is clear that the value T alpha is alpha minus 2 for each alpha bigger than 2. Okay? So in fact, this means that this is the value of total perversity, which is called total perversity. So this is the total perversity, this is the zero perversity, this is clear. Okay? In fact, I don't want to enter into details, but when you deal with complex spaces or even other spaces, you have also what are called middle perversity. And you can imagine that middle perversity means that you grow by one, take the same, grow by one, take the same, grow by one, take the same, or take the same, grow by one, and so on. And so you have two possible middle perversity. But I don't want, I will not use this, so I don't enter into these details. Okay, I want to show you an example of this. And the first example I will give you is an example of singular spaces, which is a space which is, so everybody has seen that? So next course will be 10 minutes before, okay? Clear for everybody? Well, so I can erase. Take a torus and take the suspension of the torus. What does it mean? It means to take a torus, you take the product by interval, putting the torus in at the level 0, and interval -1 + 1. Okay, you take the product, and you pinch at the level +1, and you pinch at the level -1. Of course, this will be a three-dimensional picture that I cannot draw on the blackboard, but I can do in that way. I put a point A here, and I say, so something like this. So it's a double cone with two singular points, A and B, okay? And the basis of the double cone is a torus. So it's a three-dimensional space. This is clearly a singular space, because if you take a neighborhood of A, it's clear that the neighborhood of A will have, if you cut here by plane, I will say, here, the picture you will see is it's a small torus. So the boundary of a neighborhood of A is not a sphere, it's a torus. So it's a singular point. Okay? And the same for the point B. If you want to compute ordinary homology of this picture, X, what do you find? I will put 0, 1, 2, and 3. It's a three-dimensional space. So for 0, it's clear that you find Q. It's you take any point X, and all other points you can link by a path. In dimension 1, what are candidates to give homology of the torus? You have two candidates, A, that we know already, and B, that we know already. We have seen yesterday, A and B, okay? A and B. So these are the two candidates to give H1, one-dimensional homology. But it's clear that both of them are boundary. They are boundary, for example, A is the boundary of the cone over A, the cone with vertex A. So you take a cone here, like that, and it's clear that A is the boundary of the cone over A. So it is a cycle, but also a boundary, so it gives 0 in homology. So here you have 0. Well, I let you check that there is no other possible candidate and so on. I let you check exercise for Thursday. Okay? Dimension 2. What are two-dimensional candidates? You have different two-dimensional candidates. First of all, you have the torus, which is a two-dimensional cycle. But in the same way, the torus is the boundary of the cone over the torus. You take a half cone, and the torus will be the boundary of the cone over the torus. So it gives 0, because it's a cycle, but also a boundary. But you have another cycles, two-dimensional. You take the suspension of A. For example, the suspension of A, this gives you a sphere, two-dimensional sphere, topologically speaking. T'as bon? Oh. It's okay? Okay, so you have a two-dimensional cycle, which is not a boundary, clearly. Okay? And also you have the same, the suspension of B, which is also a sphere. You know very well that suspension of S1 is S2, topologically speaking. So you have, I will write sigma of A and sigma of B. And so you have Q plus Q with sigma of A, sigma on B. And it is easy to prove that the two suspensions A and B are independent. First of all, they are not homologous. And also that all over two-dimensional cycle is homologous to a combination of both. And finally, dimension 3, it's clear that it's Q with a fundamental class of X that you can describe taking any triangulation of X, and you take the sum of all three-dimensional simplices with compatible orientation, of course. Okay? Well, so you see very well, of course, that these two-dimensional 0 and 3 are dual. That's clear, that's easy. But here, you see very well that there is no duality. You cannot write a map from H1 X, H2 X, a bilinear, taking intersection of cycles. Okay, so Poincaré duality fails. Now take intersection homology. I have no time to give details, but I let you, as an exercise again, to compute everything. I will give you the result. So EHE bar of X, EHE. Here it will be. First of all, it's a three-dimensional space. So you have 0, 1, 2, and 3 as possible value. Stop here. Okay? 3 is a codimension of the stratum. It's clear that X is stratified with X0, which is not just a union of A and B, 2 points, and then empty set. So you have just three codimensional strata, A and B, 2 points. Okay, so you have just to look at P3. And P3 can be either 0 or 1. Okay? So you have either the 0 perversity or the total perversity. 0, 1. That's it. So I can take here 0 on the total. And of course, 0 and total, they are complementary because 0 plus 1 give 1. Why? Okay? So you have two complementary perversity. Now, look at here. First of all, a point, any point X generates, that is clear for both perversities. This is easy, very easy. Now, here, what are candidates? A and B. Okay, here we said A is the boundary of the cone over A. That was the reason for which in homology we found 0. Still, A is a boundary of the cone over A. A is clearly a allowed cycle because it does not meet the singular part. But the cone over A meet the singular part. So should the cone over A, so A is the boundary of the cone over A, here and here also, okay? But here, the cone over A should be such that the dimension of the cone over A intersection with A, with a zero-dimensional stratum, S0, should be less than I minus alpha plus P alpha. Okay? This is a general formula. I, cone over A is two-dimensional, minus alpha. Alpha is the codimension of this stratum. So it's 3. And P alpha is here 0. So, and this is 0. So should be 0 less than minus 1. No, from elementary school. So it's clear that the cone over A is not an allowed chain in intersection homology. You don't know this chain. Looking at intersection homology, you don't know this guy. It is unknown for you, for the zero perversity. It is not allowed. To be allowed, it should satisfy this formula. So this here, you don't know this guy. So A is the boundary of nobody in intersection homology. A is a cycle which is not a boundary in intersection homology. So it gives here Q A, and of course the same Q B. So you have Q plus Q in dimension 1. Okay? That is a big difference with homology. You see here the difference between both. Okay, here. Now, perversity is a total perversity. So, P alpha is 1. Now, and this is okay. 0 is less than 1 minus 2 plus 1. Okay? So, now, A is the boundary of the cone over A because the cone over A is allowed for the total perversity. You see the big difference between two perversities. A chain can be allowed for a perversity and not allowed for another. Okay, so here you find 0. Because A is a boundary and B as well. You see the big difference between two different perversities. Okay? Let's go here. Here you have first of all the torus. The torus is two-dimensional, is the boundary of a three-dimensional. So if you put here the torus is the boundary of the cone over the torus, which is three-dimensional. And this is clear that here you can put 0 or 1, it's okay. So the torus is the boundary of the cone over the torus. That is okay here, and that is okay here. So it gives 0 in homology for both perversities. Now look at these guys, the suspension over A and the suspension over B. The suspension over A contains a singular point, and it is two-dimensional. So the dimension of suspension of A, intersection A, suspension A is now two-dimensional, minus here 0 perversity 3 plus 0. So it does not go. The suspension of A is not allowed. Okay? So this is a two-dimensional cycle which is not allowed. So you don't know this guy in homology. So here you have 0. Okay, you don't know suspension of A and suspension of B if you take 0 perversity. But if you take 1 perversity, the total perversity, then it's okay. Okay, so the suspension of A gives here suspension of A plus Q, suspension of B. And for three-dimensional, it's clear that you have here Qx and Qx. So look at what is interesting here is to see that these two guys, you can take intersection duality between these two guys, which are complementary dimension and complementary perversity. So you find exactly this here, okay, and that gives you the result. It's beautiful, no? No, it's not beautiful. It's not so beautiful. There's a beautiful girl, of course, but it's beautiful. No? That you find this duality with complementary perversity and complementary dimension. Okay? I let you do the same for, because I have no time, no more time than yesterday. So I let you do the same for the double cone, infinite double cone. So here you will need of closed support, okay? And I will do the same. So you can do the same as an exercise. It's very easy to compute homology and intersection homology. It's easier in that case because as it is two-dimensional, you see that you have only one perversity. And it's complementary of herself. Okay? Perversity is feminine? I don't know. David? No idea? Perversity? Yeah? I said herself, so I don't know. Itself, maybe. Okay. Itself makes sense, yeah. Excuse me? Intersection pairs, here. You want to see that? Okay. Yeah, you want to see that? So, you have A, B, suspension of A, suspension of B, okay? Here, A and B. Here, suspension of A, suspension of B, complementary dimensional, complementary perversity, okay? A, B, and suspension of A, suspension of B. And you have to do intersection matrix. So look at, if you take suspension of A, okay, with A, it's clear that you can move A inside here, a little more here, for example here, A prime can move, so they don't meet. So this is 0. Okay? It's clear that suspension of A intersection with B is just a point. So depending on orientation you choose, it will be plus or minus 1. Only one intersection point. It's clear on the picture. Okay? For B, it's the same that B intersect with suspension of B is 0 for the same reason. And also for the same reason, here you have plus or minus 1. In fact, you will see that you will find the opposite sign according to the orientation you choose. Okay? So it's clear that this matrix is not degenerate. Determinant is plus 1 or minus 1. Yeah. Okay. Okay? In fact, there is another way to make this picture just for fun. In fact, I took this example from, it is an example Goreski and McPherson they give, and I like a lot their picture. The picture is more or less like this. Okay? Okay? So this is the suspension of the torus. Because at each level, you have a square, and with identification of this with this, and identification of this with this, you know, everybody knows that you have a torus. Okay? So you make this identification at all levels, each level, and you can do exactly the same picture. So you will see the two cycles. B will be like that. Okay? This will be B. And the suspension of B you can see very well. And also A will be in the other sense. A will be like that. Okay? And you can see, so you choose the picture you want. Okay. Well, okay, so this is to motivate more Poincaré-Lefschetz use of intersection homology for Poincaré-Lefschetz, and I think this example is very instructive. It is the easiest one in order to see different dimension and different perversity, and I think this is, as I say, beautiful, no? Nice example. Okay, well, so now come back to yesterday course, and I have what we finished yesterday, which is here. Let me remind you that yesterday we said that I said to you that I will use two tools. The first one is the long exact sequence, which is valid for intersection homology, and that I will use two Cunes formula, 1 and 2. Okay, the first one, which is classical one, and the second, which is also known for people in topology, but which is also that you can prove easily. And with the use of these tools, we will be able to prove now, I will prove this theorem, which is the basis for perverse sheaves. The perverse world starts there, with the local calculus. So let's prove this theorem. Okay, I will prove the 4 cases. So first case, A. So I want to compute EH I P bar U, and I assume that I is less than alpha minus P alpha minus 1. Okay? The point X belongs to the stratum Sn minus alpha. That means that Ux is isomorphic to Bn minus alpha times the cone over the link. Okay? The ball is n minus alpha dimensional. That means that this guy is alpha dimensional. Is dimension alpha. Okay? So it is something like that. The link can be singular. Here is the link. Here is the point X. Okay, and you have a cone over the link. Okay, and the point X here, the point X belongs to the stratum Sn minus. So here you have the perversity P alpha at that point, because X is in the stratum Sn minus alpha. Okay, and X, the codimension of the point X in the cone over the link is alpha, because it's a singular point. Okay, it's not isolated, but it's a singular point inside the cone over the link. So this is important. Well, so I start by using this. This is EHI P bar Bn minus alpha times the cone over the link. And you see immediately that you can use the first Cunet formula. This is EHI P bar cone over the link. Okay? And I want to compute this homology here. So I take Xi, a cycle, in IC P bar, is this chain, group of chains, intersection chains. And I claim that Xi does not contain the point, the vertex X. Why? Because let's write the condition of perversity, dimension of Xi, intersection with X, should be less than. Xi is I-dimensional. Okay? I-dimensional. Minus the codimension of the stratum. X has codimension alpha in the cone. Plus the perversity at that point. The perversity at that point is the perversity of the stratum, P alpha. But if Xi contains X, this should be 0. But you have this condition, which tells you that I is less than alpha minus P alpha minus 1. So this is not true. Okay, this is not true. So the chain Xi does not contain the point X. What does it mean? It means that your chain Xi is somewhere here. Does not contain the singular point. It means that you can push Xi along the generatrices of the cone till you find Xl, a chain which is in the link. You push along the generatrices. Okay? And so now I have here, along these generatrices, taking the generatrices, I have a chain that I will call D, such that the boundary of D is Xi minus Xl. So Xi and Xl are homologous, and it's easy to see that it is true in the intersection homology situation. So Xi and Xl are homologous. What does it mean? It means that each Xi here is homologous to a chain in intersection homology of the link, and that gives you the first result. Okay? That's easy. Okay? Just using the definition of intersection allowed chains. Okay? Well, you see, it's not complicated. The second one, now I assume that I is bigger. It's bigger than that, okay? In fact, this is not anymore true. Okay? And my picture, of course, will not be the same. Okay. This is still true, of course. And this is still true by Cunet. And I take such a Xi. Now, Xi is I-dimensional, and it is allowed. Huh? Okay? And so Xi is here. Now Xi can contain, a priori, the singular point, because what the computation I did is not anymore true now, so Xi can contain the vertex of the cone. But what you can do is to consider the cone over Xi. The cone over Xi is a chain which is like that. Okay? It's a chain. Even Xi containing the vertex is not a problem. You can take the cone over Xi. The cone over Xi is I plus 1 chain. If the cone over Xi is allowed, then, so if is allowed, then you can write that Xi is the boundary of the cone over Xi. So Xi which is a cycle, will be a boundary. An allowed boundary. If the convexa is allowed, then this will be in intersection homology. That will be an allowed boundary. So homology will be 0. So I have to check if the convexa is allowed or not. And that is very easy. Just taking the definition. So I have to check if dimension of the convexa intersection with X is less than I plus 1. And the convexa is I plus 1 dimensional, because Xi is I dimensional, minus alpha plus P alpha. And this is 0. Okay, the convexa has always intersection 0 point, the point X with X. And this is exactly what is written here. So that is your hypothesis. So it's true. The convexa is allowed. The convexa is allowed. So Xi is a boundary in intersection theory. So homology is 0. The first part is proved. And so not so complicated. Let's go to the second part. The second part, B. I have to say something. That it's clear that, so, in fact, the first step was to say that this is the same than intersection homology I P bar of the cone. Okay, equal. So you find here intersection homology of the cone. And you see very well that intersection homology of the cone is either intersection homology of the link or 0. You know very well that in ordinary homology, a cone is contractible, so homology is 0. Okay? And so that proves that intersection homology, this is very important. This proves that intersection homology is not homotopy invariant. Okay? In fact, it satisfied, more or less, I will say, all Eilenberg, Spanier, or Zilberg, as you wish, axioms, but not homotopy invariance. Okay? And that is a big difference. Homotopy, intersection homology is not homology in the sense of Eilenberg, no, I don't remember the name of the axioms. Spanier, Alex. Thank you, Eilenberg-Steno axioms. Okay? So intersection homology is not homotopy invariance. That's very important. Let's prove this. So EH I P bar with close support of UX. First of all, this is general for homology, also for intersection homology, is that taking close support is the same. I did not say before, but it is a general result for homology with close support. It's the same than all the compact homology, taking here the boundary, the neighborhood of the boundary of U. Okay, so this is a general result, that taking close support homology of open subset U is the same that compact homology of this pair. Okay, this is a general result that you can check easily. Now, what is this? Here is my U, which is a product of a ball by the cone over the link. Here the link are 2 points. Okay, so this is my U. And I look at this guy here. That is the neighborhood of the boundary. So which is something like that. Something like that. Okay. The boundary, if you wish, the boundary of U, this is the boundary of U. Okay? That's clear? So I take a neighborhood of the boundary of U, which is this. This is interval. I prefer to put ball, but if you prefer, you put interval, of course. Okay? So, this is this guy. But it's clear that this guy is a union of two first of all, this okay, and this. Okay? Do you agree? Hopefully. Okay? And this, the first one, what is the first one? You have here the ball, Bn minus alpha, and the boundary of the ball, Bn minus alpha, times the interval. So you have exactly the boundary of Bn minus alpha times interval, and times the cone over the link. Do you agree? It's easy to see that this is exactly a neighborhood of the here. This is this part. Okay? Times the cone over the link. And the second part, union Bn minus alpha times the link times B1. Is it clear? Here is Bn minus alpha, and so the link, there are 2 points, and you take the link times B1. This is green part, and you take the product by the ball, Bn minus alpha. Okay, so I can separate in 2 parts. And, okay, well, so this is, I can write here, EH I P bar of U alpha, which is Bn minus alpha times the cone over the link, modulo the boundary of U times B1, which is all this guy, which is Bn minus alpha times B1 times cone over the link, first part, union Bn minus alpha times the link times B1. Well, now, of course, I will use the second Knecht formula. And you see that you have the second Knecht formula with X will be here, will be the cone over the link, and V will be the link times V1, and K is N minus alpha. Okay? So you have exactly the second Knecht formula that you can use. So you are very happy. Are you? Okay? So we use the second Knecht formula, and this will be, so I can erase here. Okay, so that is equal EHI minus K, so minus N minus alpha, always the same perversity P bar, and then here, no, it's plus. I have to put plus? No, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. Okay, and then xv, so cone over the link, modulo the link times b1. Well, okay? Okay. So now I have to prove that this is either 0 or homology of the link. Well, so maybe I will write this here. I can erase all this, and I say that EH I P bar closed of UX is the same than EH P bar I minus N minus alpha of the cone over the link modulo times B1. Well, so I take again my picture. This is the point X, this is the link, and now I am considering a neighborhood of the link, which is the length times B1, which is something like that. Okay? The link, product of the link by interval, which is the neighborhood of the link. Okay? So that is what I have to compute. And I take, so I look at the two conditions. So take, first of all, take a xi, a cycle, in ICI P bar of the cone or the link, modulo Lx times V1. I take such a xi, and I suppose, first of all, I assume that I is less than n minus p alpha. Yes? No. My God. Okay, so, very fast. So, xi does not contain x. The point x, that's clear. I let you check exactly the same procedure than before. The dimension, if you write it, you will see that, so I let you write, exercise. So xi is here. It does not contain x. Okay, I assume you can show it's very easy. So you can push in the same way along the diagonal to have a cycle in this neighborhood of the link. So xi is homologous to a xi L, which lies in Lx times B1. What does it mean? It means that your cycle is here. So homology is 0, because it is in the, okay? So if you take this relative homology, your cycle, which is here, is in fact here, so gives 0 in homology. And now, the last one, 1 minute. Last one is easier and faster. I will take long exact sequence here, EH P bar K of the cone over the link, EH P bar K cone over the link modulo link times B1 times, so the first line here, okay, K minus 1 P bar link times B1, and then EH K minus 1 P bar cone over the link. Okay, and so on. And you write this with K is I minus N minus alpha. Okay? In that case, K here is I minus n minus alpha. So it is with this condition here, this will be bigger than alpha minus p alpha. And also, k minus 1 is bigger than alpha minus p alpha minus 1. So a fortiori, so both of them, k and k minus 1 here, are such that k is bigger than alpha minus p alpha minus 1. So these two homology are 0 by this previous result. This is 0. This is 0. So homology of this guy is the same than homology of the link times B1. Again, I use QNet formula here. This is the same than EH P bar K minus 1, that is I minus N minus alpha minus 1 of the link using, again, the first QNet formula. And that's prove the theorem. Thank you. So next time, we will go from this first step to the pervasive definition. Thank you. 10 minutes before. It will start at 1:50. Thursday. 10 minutes before. And I remind that people presenting posters this afternoon, they have to stay with the poster. Okay? Thank you.